Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, folks. This is your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Folks, it's Friday. It is the start of the weekend for many of us here. I mean, those that still have a job, you're still at work, but you wait for that good. I remember those days when I was working, and Friday was the highlight for my week. Oh, I had one job where I was off on Fridays. I only worked 4 days a week, 10 hours a day.
Amazing.
That was great. I used to pick up some guys and say, "Why you fools why you fools at work? I'm at home watching cartoons." So, so folks, and I'm always interested in somebody's path in bodybuilding, especially if my goal is that I am the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk, and I have quite a few other monikers you know me as. I'm known as also the Joker, and also I'm known as the Pervy Sage. But one of my favorite ones I often go by, especially since this young lady's from across the way from the UK. I am, as I often say, I'm an international player from the Himalaya. So, shout out to my man, Romy Rome from Martin. That's my favorite. Yeah, just saw Martin this morning. It was one of the episode we fought Tommy Hearns. We have here the lovely Mrs. Laura Morley, and Miss Morley just recently competed last year. She did the European Master Championships, and then she recently made a return in the PCA. So I saw her do an interview with Claudio. You know Claudio from Hardcore Female Bodybuilding Media. He is one of the guys on here, like myself and other content makers, who give the opportunity to hear ladies' stories. So we're going to welcome Laura, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's amazing to be here. But yeah, it was a big season last year. Eight shows after not competing for 9 years. So it was a huge season.
Wow, you were pretty busy. 8 shows. And how many was in the PCA? And also, you're also FitX IFB Pro too. That's the federation. Never heard of that one.
Yeah, so I did FitX. So I started off, basically I was just going to go in and we were heading for MPC, Bradford and Milan. But just because I hadn't competed for 9 years, we were ready early. So I wanted to dust off the cobwebs and get my confidence of being back on stage. So we went in PCA. We did PCA Wales. I think I did 3 PCAs: Wales, Birmingham, and another one. And then we went on to an MPC, the Bradford. Then we did the FitX, which is a great federation. It's really they really take care of their athletes. And that was a big expo as well. So it was really good fun. And that was a pro qualifier. So that's where I went in as WPD, but when I went in for registration, Leisha and Mike, who were running it, she asked to sort of have a look at me and see where I was. And she was like, no, you're definitely bodybuilding. So that's where I got my pro card with the FitX this year. And then I won the pro show, which was the following day. And then we went on to Euromasters in Milan, which was a great experience. Again, I won a first in bodybuilding, but there was no pro card because there's not enough athletes. And like I said, for me, when I get that pro card, hopefully, fingers crossed, I want to know that I've worked and merit having it. So I always knew that I lacked the size. I've got that condition, which I can get into, but now we need the size on that. So I'm working away at that now. Come back, I'm 9 weeks post show now. So digestion's really good, food's in, training's flying, and I'm absolutely loving training. So we're going to put on that size and then go back in, because what I realized going back into competing was that I love being on stage. I don't get nervous because I don't think I go in with the sort of expectations of winning, just being my best. And I absolutely just relish that time. I'm a very shy person usually, but when I get on stage, I just absolutely love it. So it sort of lit that fire in me that, yeah, we're going to get that size on and go back in and see what we can do. Probably next year now, 2027, we'll take a year off to get that size that I need and then go back in 2027.
All right, yeah, take your time. Like I said, I've often heard you ladies tell me bodybuilding is not a marathon. It's not a race. It's a marathon. It's about taking the time to build and conditioning, especially in a division like women's bodybuilding. You want that overall size compared to others like physique. You still, like I said, from what I'm seeing from your pictures and stuff I saw posted, you have a great physique. It's very impressive. I think either way you can go. But this is the question I'm going to start with. Ask you here: what got you started in a sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
Yeah, I was very overweight, so I fell pregnant. I was overweight from a child, and then I lost it sort of when I became a teenager. Put it back on again. Fell pregnant at a young age, and then just sort of always struggled with my weight. So I started traditionally, like everyone, being a cardio bunny, going out and jogging and just hitting the cardio. And because I've got a personality where I always always have to have a goal. So I started running, and then I got into marathon running, so long distance running. And then just one day I lived in France for 18 years. So one of my best friends, when I was out there, a new gym was opening. So she was like, "Oh, shall we go?" And then I went into this gym with her. And as soon as I walked in, I was just absolutely felt at home. And absolutely loved it, and didn't know what anything did really. Sort of was playing around on the machines, and then just carried on going. Someone was helping me out of the gym and like became my coach. And because I've got this personality, I just go full send into everything. So I was just like, right, this is it. This is me now. And for a while, I was still long distance running and bodybuilding, but the two aren't compatible. You can't do the two together. And I just loved, for me, I'm small. I just, everyone's got this like body dysmorphia in bodybuilding and always doesn't see themselves as other people see them. And I just I love looking at the ladies that have got, all these bubbly muscles and legs that are just, crazy sizes. And that's what my aim is just to keep putting on this size and just to get bigger. And I absolutely love training. Like now we're post show, training's flying, and for me that's the main thing. Like competing is a byproduct of me putting in the work for training, and obviously you've got the food and the sleep, everything that goes with it. But I just love the feeling that I get from going in and having a great session, get that nervous anxiety before a leg session. And it's that I absolutely love. And then from there, obviously working hard, you do build that muscle. But like you say, it does take time. It's a game of patience. And I'll be 47 in a couple of months, and I've been doing this now for 15 years. And even though I didn't compete for 9 years, I was still training as part of my life now. I've always trained, go to the gym sort of 5 times a week, more if I was allowed, but we know that you need to recover. So yeah, it's just, it is my life, and it's not a hardship at all. Like training, the food, the diet, for me, that's me. That's what makes me me. And I just love the whole routine of it.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing about that. This is not just a changing of just who you are as a person, but it's a lifestyle change. Getting involved into this, the competitive part of it, the training, the dieting. That's most people wouldn't have the same. This is one thing. There's a difference between discipline and motivation. Motivation can change with the wind. Discipline is something you stick to, even if you are doing the same thing over again, you eat the same thing over and again, because it's part of your process as you grow and develop. And as you mentioned earlier, you said the Europe Championship. I know they interviewed a while back. She also competed PCA. Clara Crowder, she competed that show, and I think you were in the same class. And it's a lot, especially when you are like yourself. Both of y'all ladies are women of mature age. You have children, and there's a lot of responsibilities there. Like, how old are your babies?
So my children now are adults, so 26, going to be 27 next week, 23 and 19. And I've got 2 granddaughters, 2.5-year-old Lottie and 8 weeks out now, Mabel. So 2 young grandchildren that I'm going to move for shortly to be able to help them and be a nan on hand and have the girls once a week. But when I was competing the first time round, the children were young, and I've been a single parent for all of their lives really. So it was a case of juggling it. And I think that's why I took a step back from competing, because it is a very selfish sport at the, at the end of the day. It is something where when you're competing and you're in prep, you're in your own lane, you're in your own head, you've just got this focus and you can't let anything get in the way of it. So if you are, obviously you have got a family as well, and we've got jobs, we're not, we have to sort of keep an income because it's an expensive sport as well. So it is hard to try and juggle all of those and give time to your children as well. So I think that's why I sort of took that step back from the stage, is just because there was a lot going on in our lives, and the children were growing up and they needed me. But now they're older, they're doing their own thing. They still think I'm as crazy as ever with the sport. They are athletic, all of them. They all do their own sports, boxing, high rocks, Zumba and things. So they do sort of follow a regime of eating good food, nutritious food, and they do train regularly. But they see that this sport is extreme and think that I'm crazy. But now that, like I say, they're older, I can sort of delve back into it, and dipping my toe back in this year or last year, just brought again out that absolute passion that I have for competing and taking it to that level. I love the whole of prep. It was, it's really bloody hard work, but I absolutely loved it, and I was just in my element from start to finish. And it's just carried on now. Like I say, the motivation for training, thinking that I can step back on stage and what am I going to do? I'm going to make sure that I bring a different package that's a better package, so that the judges can see that I've gone away and worked. Like I say, for me, I love it. It's not a hardship. It's not something that I think, oh Christ, I've got to go to the gym today, I really don't want to. I just love everything. I love my meal prep. I love the food I eat. So it is me, but I love it.
Yeah, I think you have to love what you get into this sport, because, like I said again, there's so much sacrifice to it: time, money, your body, your mind, because it can be emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual draining sport. It take a lot out of you, and especially instead of getting earlier, being a woman of mature age, like my man Doc Holliday, where my Doc Holliday says, "I'm in my prime." So sometimes that's the thing, is you got to be prime for this, getting into it. Like, and I know your children, there was days when, especially when you were in the early stages of your competitive time, where they feel like, Mom, we want to spend more time with you, and then yada yada. And then also when you're cooking, you got to cook separate from yourself, because they're not going to eat, dried chicken and broccoli and carrots all day. Kids like, a little biscuit or something a little sweet or something like that. And, and also being a grandmother, that's special, because my mother, she, before she passed, she was a grandmother, a great grandmother. And, and those babies, they really appreciate spending time with their grandma.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. And being a nan, you just see things differently. I would, like I say, I was a single mum, 3 kids. I had multiple jobs. I've always had multiple jobs. And my daughter said to me the other week, she was like, "Did we do this?" And I was like, in the nicest possible way, I dragged you up in the nicest possible way to get you to where you need to be. But now I'm like seeing things for the first time again, and taking a step back and relishing in it. But when you are in the throes of it, you do what you have to. And bodybuilding has always been a staple for me. Even if I wasn't competing, I've always been a bodybuilder. And it's really helped me. It's helped me mentally with my life as well. There's so many transferable skills that you can get from when you're in the gym. One is, you've got patience, like you say, you've got the discipline, the motivation, but that gets you to where you in your work life and in your life that you're doing outside of the gym, those skills all transfer. And today I think everything is so fast and so quick, and everyone's so flippant, and bodybuilding is never going to be a sport that is a flippant sport, because you have to go in, you do the same things every week, you might add a kilo or a kilo and a half on or something, and you go again, and you're trying to get those better reps, more form. It is a sport that is slow. It's that gets you to where you need to be, and will put on that size and muscle. You can't just go in, pick a few weights up, throw them about, and then be done and expect to change. It is a sport that is, patience is a virtue in this sport. And I think those are skills as well that you take with you. And like you say, when you go in and have an amazing session, sometimes mentally you might not be in a great space, but you'll go in the gym, and I always find that I'll come out with a better mindset, and I would have had a great session. I feel fresh, I feel great, and I'm ready to go. So it helps me in my daily life. If you've got sort of issues with work, with life, with stress, for me, training is always something that is a constant for me and will always be there. And whatever mood I'm in, if I'm in the best mood, if I feel a bit down, training's just great, and it will sort me out.
Yeah, that's the one thing I think, especially some people out there, they want everything quick, fast, in a hurry. There is no fast solution. Sometimes you get burned out a lot quicker. You try to do it fast. And with bodybuilding, especially with the everyday person who's out there, like they think that it's all you do is got pop some magic pills. Taking steroids, and I'm jacked. And again, we go back to the fact that it is about being disciplined, being persistent, being consistent. It's not if you don't have that mindset for it, then you shouldn't get involved in it. So like I said, what's that feeling for you when you get on stage? Like you said, what was it? Because 9 years because you were taking care of your family and you were living in Paris, France. Ooh, was it France? Just what was there for you in France, and why were you there?
I was in the southwest, so it wasn't quite as bourgeois as Paris, but it was on the coast and on the seaside. And I always loved. I've been a massive Francophile, so I always loved France. And then went out there because it was a better life for the children. And then that's where I sort of found bodybuilding and started competing. So when I was in France, I competed in France, Italy, Spain, and then when I came back to the UK for my children for their further education, then I sort of, like I say, carried on training but didn't compete just because life was busy and you need the time. There's no point in going into a prep if you're not in that right mindset or you haven't got the time to dedicate to it. And then I think I lost a bit of confidence in myself, and it was when I started training with Amanda and she became my coach. Again, I was sort of saying to her, I was thinking of maybe dipping my toe in competing, and then when she was like, "You're ready, let's go in and do a prep," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, let's just see what we've got and if I like it." And like I say, that first PCA competition, I was backstage, and there was obviously there's sort of nerves because you don't want to make an idiot of yourself when you're stepping on stage and you've got the routine, and there's a lot of women's physique and women's bodybuilding. There's so many mandatory poses compared to bikini and figure, so thinking of all of those. But just when I got on there, I don't know, I was absolutely in my element and I loved it. And I had the smile on my face is not a forced smile, it's totally genuine. I was just beaming from ear to ear when I was going through. And again, it's the people you meet, that community spirit, because it is such a strange sport, and you're getting tanned up and you're all standing there with very little clothes on, and it's just such a weird thing. But when you're all there in the thick of it, you're talking about what you want to eat and all of things like that. You're sharing all of your journeys that you've been on, and you just meet people that understand what you've been through, and it's just the best feeling. And having Amanda there, she was at all of the competitions. We stayed in Airbnbs because she had sort of multiple athletes competing at the same competition. So again, we were all in there, all going through our routines together, posing, checking in with Amanda. And she was saying, you need to wait to eat, you go and do this or that. She was just incredible. And it was just the best memories that I've had for a long time. And like I said, I found myself again. You get like, my children are older, they don't need me as much. And I was feeling a bit lost. I was like, well, what do I do? I've got my business, I've got my coaching that I do, and I do translations and admin, but I needed something else. And that was it. I found that it was going back in and, going in full send into training for a purpose with doing sort of competing. So that's it now. So I've come reversed out, and now I'm like, okay, let's build to go back in again.
Well, yeah, that's, like I said, it's a work in progress. And your coach you mentioned is Amanda Winston, who is an IFBB figure pro. She's been competing for quite a long time. I think it's been the last couple of years since she last competed. I mean, it's a good relationship you'll have. How long y'all known each other?
I moved to Plymouth, and in the same area she did. So she was at the gym that I wanted to sort of train out of. That was her gym. So I met up with her in the first instance just as a posing coach to help me posing. And when I spoke to her, she'd just come out of her last competition in America. And she looks insane, whatever season she's in. If she's in off season, if she's competing, she looks absolutely phenomenal. And when I chatted to her, I was just like, there's no question. It's just, she's my coach. She knows so much about sort of hormonal issues and, women's hormones. And she's such an on-hand coach. And the fact that she's here, like I said, I trained with her today. I'm so privileged to be able to sort of train with her, once a week. And she's just there. She comes to every competition. When she was traveling in America, in Dubai, she'd stay up, just to check us in when we're in prep, because, you wake up at 4, you want to know what you're going to eat for the day. And I honestly couldn't have got to where I was without having her there. And now, like, she'll never get rid of me. That's what I said to her. So now, like, going forward, I just had my bloods back. They're in a really good spot. So, coming out of that as well as, an older woman, I wouldn't have got those blood test results without her and her sort of help and advice going all the way through. So, she's absolutely crazy in the best possible way. And I just love everything about her. And like I say, without her, I wouldn't have got here. I wouldn't have even stepped back on stage, I don't think, if she'd not sort of pushed me to do it that first instance. So I'm very grateful.
Yeah. So in a way, she's your other half. She completes you. So
she is. She is as crazy as the Joker as well. So she's definitely the other half.
Well, she recently just started following me on my IG. I hope maybe we can get her on for an interview, get her talk, because like I said, with bodybuilding, even though it's a kind of a small community you were talking about earlier, but it's kind of got worldwide. It's women from the UK, women from England. I mean, UK to France. Like, I had one lady who I had from France, the legendary multiple-time Olympia Barbara Manjan, and that was like if it was like back in 2022, she can compete. That was after that last Olympia she did. People like from UK, Lisa Cross. I interviewed Romana Scottson, there's Sarah Bradley, so many other competitors across the world. Ladies, as far as from Singapore to Brazil and other countries, has become, even though it's like this, it's not as big a sport. If you look at the mainstream sports like soccer, football, basketball, baseball, it's still seen as a fringe sport because the thing is different. It's always going to be the accusation of it, the use of performance enhancers and steroids. But again,
it's always going to be an underground sport. Yeah.
But again, that's just part of recovery. And I know I've interviewed some young lady. I interviewed a young lady. Her name is Hannah, and she is also from UK. She's a natural competitor.
Hannah. Posing with Hannah.
Yeah, she's still young. I think she came to the States about a couple of months ago and did a show, which natural show, but in the pro card. I interviewed one of the competitors that competed there, also same show. She's also natural. It's a process that you got to find what works for you, and it's good that you find a coach that understands. So sometimes I think, especially for women, I'm saying this: men and women were the same race, but we're different breeds.
We're different, 100%,
Yeah, biology is like that. Like I said, you had children, you had babies. Men, we can't have babies. This is like to quote my man Conan. The what's important in life for a man is to crush your enemies, seem dreamy for you, and hear the lamentation of the women. That is good. So taking the time off to grow and develop, that's smart.
I think it's a very personalized thing, whether you go into sort of performance enhancing drugs. And I think that, obviously when you're in a prep, it's a real extreme, but outside of prep, I think it's a really healthy sport, because we really listen to our bodies, and we know what they need. And even if you're taking performance enhancing drugs, that's a choice that the individual makes. And then you find a coach that supports your decision and supports with your education and your learning for that. And then aside from that, like I say, I have regular blood tests. I look after my hormones because, you know, in as long as well as doing the sport and going into competitive competitions, I'm also going sort of through the menopause. So those two have got to work together. And it's my choice then of what I want to do and where I want to take that. But then finding a coach like I've got Amanda that understands that and has the knowledge to help me sort of navigate through where I want to go and what I want to do and how far I'm willing to take things. It's a real it's a real step that you need to have that coach alongside you. And like I say, she's amazing, and it's my choice of what I want to do and how far I want to go. And like I say, because I'm not going to have any more children, and I'm not in a relationship, so I've decided that I'm happy with it. And there are other people that want to go more of the keep staying on the natural side. But for me as well, it helps me because of going through that menopausal stage. There are now, half of the PDs are to support that and to keep me going and in a healthy state. So it's a case of sort of learning and seeing how far you're willing to take it and what you need to support that. Like my testosterone levels are naturally low, so I take fem tests to get them up to just a baseline level. It's not that it's anything, superfluous to what I need to do. It's literally just to get them to baseline because of my age, and I train hard. So when I do have blood test results, my testosterone levels are always low. So for me, I'm taking that just to get them to a level that I need them to. Nothing out of the ordinary, just at a baseline level. But that's, and I'm going to do that because otherwise I feel like crap.
Yeah. The thing is especially it's about what you use to help your process. It's not, it's not the thing that helps you gain the muscle. It's the thing for recovery. And again, we go back to always the issue we look at bodybuilding because it's considered it's a man's sport. But as a woman, you find a sport that you love and you want to develop and grow. If you be a pro at FitX or being a pro in the PCA or the IFBB, it's just something that I think people, they enjoy what they do, and they get it's a passion they follow, and they understand the work it takes to follow that passion. We have here someone popping into the comment section. My man here, KL the Wanderer, he also does content on the ladies. He's more a fan of the muscles. It's a crime. I gotta tell you this crime, Lord. Before I'm in a muscle per small. Y'all ladies, y'all excite me, so I have to share that with you. He says this. Good morning, good afternoon. Appreciate that, brother. So while we got Lori here and we're talking with her, we're going to do this. We're going to jump into her social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her link in the description of this slide. If you want to check her out, reach out to her. She's also a coach and a trainer. If you're somebody, maybe you do online coaching or it's mostly you will like in person.
Yeah, no, I was doing in person. I was doing about 30, 40 hours a week, but because, like I said, I'm moving now to be closer to my granddaughters and my eldest daughter, it's more online and lifestyle coaching. And like I say, because I'm at menopausal age, I'm a single mom, have multiple jobs. I think I've had a lot of life experience that I can then help other women with. Not necessarily women, men, but everyone's sort of busy. Everyone's got like I say, multiple jobs, kids have got sports clubs and things, but you can still find that time to look after yourself. And it's a case of, it's self-care really, that people need to, everyone should dedicate that time for themselves to go into the gym. And I'm such a fan of, picking up the weights. It's great if you want to do those classes and the cardio classes, but as you get older, you need to be lifting weights. And I'm such an advocate for that I think that's what I sort of push, even if it's not, it doesn't have to be anything extreme like me. Even if you can get in there and do a half hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, you can get such a good workout in, and the benefits that you will see, like I say, transfer into your daily life, your, back niggles that you're feeling, sort of getting up and about, picking up your shopping bags, all things like that. Unless you're doing lifting progressive load, then you're that's what you need to be doing when you get to a certain age, whether you're male or female. It's really, really important to put that into your daily routine. And then, like I say, with good nutrition as well, you'll be flying into getting older. And as the age creeps up on us, we want to be in the healthy way.
Yeah, I can stand it because you know what? I'm just turned 51 in November. And, you know, I used to be, at one point, I was almost 500 pounds because I was taking care of my mother. And she used to be, you know, she had to raise not just me, you know, there was like my three sisters, my three brothers, my two older nephews. That's and
Yes.
she and you know, and that's why I have a love for a single woman because in what they had to do and what they had to go through the struggles. I got to shout out always. My mother was the one who really got me into this because I was taking care of her, and I like this as a boy. You, as our mothers, you are our number one woman. We have girlfriends and wives coming every down, but we can't. Once we lose our mother, we lose that person that we have a strong bond with. And I know your daughter appreciates you coming through, helping her with her babies, and your other kids spending time with you. We got here a comment here from a man. Kelly says, "Yeah, I like Laura's muscles. How long do you keep your body conditioned? I'm impressed with your progress." Well, she's really impressive. So what we're gonna do, guys, as I said earlier, we're going to jump into her social media for a bit. And she, you know, and guys, if you want to follow her, the link's in the description. But this is a nice lady. She's somebody's mother. She's somebody's grandmama. Guys, I know you love these buff, muscular women. Be respectful. No weird shit. Reach out with genuine interest and support. So we're going to jump into her social media for a little bit. So you want to follow the links in the description as live. And as I said again, I earlier I talked. She did an interview with Claudio at, over at Hardcore Bodybuilding. Claudio, he's really been stepping up on his stuff. He just started a new database for website. Here she is with a coach, Amanda Watson. Yeah, here talking. Is a friend or a client you're talking to?
That's Lewis Breed. He's another IFBB pro. So I do some PT sessions with him just to try and elevate my training, just to really target the areas that I need to grow.
Yeah, it's really impressive from some of the pictures I've seen here. I mean, here she is again with Amanda. You know, what do you feel like at the last show? What does it feel like the thing that you need to work on the most? Because you know, like I'm looking, you got crazy arms, shoulders, your back, your glutes are just crazy condition.
For me, it's I need to get, because I'm quite wide, I need to get that taper on my waist. So I need to bring up my back and that quad sweep I need to bring up. So it's about creating that taper and giving the illusion that I've got a smaller waist because I'm quite thick in the waist. And so it's about bringing up the size and just to get that X frame in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this is before and after. You can see how much she has a good white. That's what the back can make
so on the left, I was 68 kilos, and on the right, I'm 63. So I'm actually 5 kilos less on the right side, but obviously look a lot bigger with the muscle. So that's the progress that I've made with Amanda in just over a year.
Yeah, it's pretty good progress. And here she is. You know, you're working on your posing because she also works with your posing too. She does nutrition also?
Yes, yeah. Amanda does everything. She's an amazing posing coach. So she teaches guys as well. She's just got such a good eye. She does everything. So she does my supplements, the nutrition, my training, my recovery. So I'm also working a lot at the moment on mobility. So I'm going to sort of doing regular yoga classes. So that was me before at my heaviest. I was like 75 kilos. And that's me competing there. So that was we got to about 58 when we got on stage. My lowest I got to it was 54 in prep, and then we got up to like 58 kilos. So we lost about 21 kilos.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and like I say, it's a process. The training, the dieting. Here's some pictures here from when she was at the Europa Championship, championship in Italy, and you were only two women in bodybuilding because, as you know, what the rules is that if there's not enough people, like it has to be at least a minimum of 5 to get your pro card. Who's this young gentleman? That's your boy?
No, that's my son. He came to Milan with me.
He's a good-looking boy. You know, he's just as good-looking as his mama.
He's an absolute star.
Yeah, I know he's proud of his mama. You know, like I said,
he's going to Italy. He's actually going to Italy next week to do a high rocks competition.
What's high rocks?
It's where you have sort of different exercises, and in between each exercise you run, I believe it's 1 kilometer, and so you've got things like wall balls, rope pulling, lunges. So it's a big sport here. I don't know what it's like in the States, but it is a big sport. But he's going to Italy to do his first high rocks competition next week.
Sounds like a bit like CrossFit in a way, because they do a lot of
Yeah,
or triathlon.
It's a bit like CrossFit, but you've got the running element in between each exercise. You do the kilometer run.
Yeah, here she is on the stage at the competing women's physique at the Euro Masters. What was critique from the judges? Because I think you were second place at the show.
Yeah, it's just my size. So the lady that won was absolutely phenomenal. You can see her there. She's got that size over me. So I've got the condition, so we know we can get into condition. So now it's just literally get in the gym and get some more muscle on my frame.
Yeah, I know the lady. I followed the lady. Her name is Julia. She's from Italy. I've seen her. She just made her pro debut just after that show in Portugal. She took second, which was second to.
She's got that. She's also got that bubbly look. I don't tend to get that bubbly look. Mine's more of a grainy look. So it depends as well. It's so subjective. It depends on what the judges want, and if they're looking for that bubbly look or if they're looking for more of a grainy physique. But I definitely know that I need to get some size on my frame. So I know that was the only feedback that I got, was just to get that taper. So if we get size on, we'll get that taper in. And like I said, I'm working on everything my end now to get that.
Yeah, because especially in women's physique, you want more lean, aesthetic look compared to women's bodybuilding, where you want to be more fuller, more size, more the
I think that's
bellies.
why we're going between either women's physique or women's bodybuilding, whatever category I sort of fit into. Then we'll go with that. I love both the categories, whether it's WPD or bodybuilding. I'm happy either way. So it's I aspire to people like Sarah Bradley. I think she's absolutely amazing. I love Dr. Meg Scooby. Rania, I think, looks phenomenal. So it's whichever I get, I need that size. So, and then I'll see where I fit into.
Yeah, I actually met Meg Morrison when I was in Tampa. She was there when she made her debut in women's physique. She's a big woman. Some say she looks closer to women's bodybuilding than physique. Yeah, that's the debate.
100%. She's absolutely got. I mean, they're the women that I aspire to. So I need to get that size to sort of fit in, to be anywhere near where they are. So I've got a long way to go, but it's like you said, it's a sport of longevity. So there's no real age. There's no time that I've got to stop. As long as I'm in good health and I'm loving it, then I'll just keep going.
Well, here she did an interview right after she got a pro card at the FitX. So we'll share the interview with y'all. You're going to listen. Well, this is a video for FitX, but where's the interview? I know the interview is here because I saw it.
Oh, I think the interview was at PCA. I think I did.
Oh, it's PCA. Oh,
yeah, straight
PCA.
after.
I thought it was FitX. Here it is.
The trained figure class at the PCA Midlands. So Laura, got up there, got the win. Yep. How did it feel mentally getting ready for today's show?
It's been crazy because I haven't competed for 9 years. Okay. So it's coming back in and just seeing whether I still enjoy competing. So I always love bodybuilding. And honestly, having Amanda Winston as my coach has just made it the best prep ever. Okay. And I was totally chilled and relaxed and just wanted to come in and enjoy it, and I absolutely loved it.
With that amount of time off, was there a fire lit? Was there a specific moment that said, I'm just going to jump back on stage?
Well, it was Amanda really that got me to, because I never thought I'd have the confidence to get back, and I never thought I'd be big enough. You're never going to be big enough, are you? Yeah. But then when I started the prep, I did a massive off season, started the prep, and I was just, this is me. I'm a bodybuilder through and through, and I absolutely love it.
Okay. Now, I'm going to let you go in a second because you've got to be over in a second. But now, in that off season, was it kind of just time to chill, or was it always a constant point of still just training, keeping things ticking over and still improving just in case you want to get back out there?
Yeah, I've always trained like I'm going to step on stage. So my diet's always been on point. My training's always been like 100%. So I've always had that mentality that I'm going to step back on stage, but it was just me.
Well, it's a pretty good interview here. And also, we have a video from the competition as she was doing her posing. I'll pull it up here for y'all. You want to check it out. I got to mute it because YouTube is always some shit about music and stuff like that. But it was, excuse me, I have technical difficulties, folks. But you're very impressive, lady. I mean, I would say that the especially a woman of 47, having 3 kids, working, being consistent. I give respect on that.
Thank you. No, it's like I say, I absolutely love it, but there is no age with this sport. That's why it is such an amazing sport, because it doesn't, you are step on stage with women that are half my age, and it's just that you just put that time in, the dedication, and it is so subjective. You can't go, although, you want to be the best, but it's always against yourself, because you never know what the judges are looking for. So all you can hope and aim for is that you're always getting better against you. So, when we went from that first PCA show right up until Milan, each show I came in a little bit better. So again, we either peaked with Amanda a bit differently. She again was learning my physique as I was, going different on the stages. And she's learned a lot. I've learned a lot about myself for when we go on again. So next time I step on stage again, I'll be better than what I was, and then hopefully keep going and keep getting that improvement each time, because that's all you can do. You never know what the judges are going to be looking for. You never know who's going to come and step on stage with you. So it is just about you each time and getting that bit better, whether that's with your posing, whether that's with your mandatories, how you're peaking, if you come in a bit fuller or if you come in more conditioned. But it's always about tweaking. It's so interesting because you just learn so much about yourself each time. And I know that and Amanda knows now that I function well on high water. Daily my water's about 7 liters, and if I'm sort of under that, then I don't function as well. So it's such an individualized sort of process as well, of what your body needs and how it works and what it works well on. So it's such an interesting sport as well. Whereas if you love your sport, whether that's golf, whether that's football, whether that's rugby, swimming, it really doesn't matter, as long as you love it and you're passionate about it. But the thing with bodybuilding is it's all encompassing. It's about your daily life. If you need to make sure your sleep's on point, your recovery, your mobility, your food, it's your water, how much salt you're having. It's one of those I think it's the only sport that every single thing that you do in your day-to-day life has an impact on.
Yeah. And also pretty much it's not about the competitors you're up against. It's like more like you versus you.
You have 100%.
Yeah, because you're the one who has to make the improvements, because you know what? That person might come in and they had a good day, like we talked about Julia earlier. She's impressive. I think she most definitely, at the right show, I can see her probably making Olympia, if not this year. I mean, her condition is crazy. I think, to me, I look at as we talk about Sarah Bradley, how the standard of how she's still young. I think she's not even 30 yet, and how the standard of the divisions have changed over the years. So if you look at it now, how some women in physique look like they should be in women's bodybuilding. Look at women who are in physique should be women's who are who just develop and growing. You look at divisions like your coach, who's in figure, where I've seen pictures and videos of her. Her body is just crazy. I mean,
it's absolutely crazy. I know, but that's it. There's such a fine line between the divisions and between the different federations, what they're looking for. So, PCA now, I probably wouldn't go back into PCA because I'm too big for the, they do trained figure, they don't do WPD, and you get to a start, you're too much for PCA. So then you hop into another one, and then there's like NABA division. There's different divisions that want different things. And there's a fine line between that. So it's sort of finding out where you feel more comfortable in, what your physique fits into, and where you want to take it. And I don't have any preference. Like I said, I love women's physique. I haven't got the waist, I haven't got that X frame for figure. I never will have. So I'm more suited to like women's physique. If I ever get to women's bodybuilding, that'd be amazing. But it's just about what your figure fit, what your physique fits into the category, and that you're happy with that, and then tweaking yourself and your training for that. But it is definitely a sport that is like all encompassing in terms of your day. So how your life is will impact on what your physique looks like.
Yeah. Here, we have here a comment from my man KL the Wanderer. Says she got me wanting to tell her by the power of Grayskull Shira. Yeah, he's easy like that. Also, he says this. He says, "I like European women bodybuilders. They make my mouth watery looking at them." Again, he's part of my community. We smoke. And also, he says this. Shout out to him, and I appreciate his support. He says, "When you first started competing, was it tough to understand the sport of bodybuilding?"
No, because I was passionate, it was something that I fell into, and when I fell into it, I absolutely loved it. So it's something that really fits with me as a person. So I don't think it's a sport for everyone, because it is quite extreme, and when you're in, you're all in. But for me, it was just, that's me. I am a bodybuilder, and it's something that fits with the person that I am, and the personality that I have. So for me, it wasn't, like I say, it's not tough to stick to the diet, stick to the foods I eat. I love them. The training, the prep, the off season, for me, everything has a purpose, and I love it. I love the training in off season. You know, having a good off season will then mean that your prep will be good and you'll step on stage a better athlete. So it for me, it's all one thing leads into the other, and that's why I want to be 100% on everything that I do in all phases. But it's not a hardship for me. I absolutely love it. So that's why it's it's a sport that fits into my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Well, many ladies I've talked to, they do it for a passion, even though this sport can be expensive, especially if we look at it from the standpoint of the cost of travel to the shows, the cost of entry fees, especially since you're an amateur. The other stuff, expenses of you got to pay your coach, you got to buy a suit for the show. I mean, you know, I often speak like this, especially I got into bodybuilding because, you know, when I was growing up, you know, I grew up in about the 80s, and, you know, and my brother used to lift weights. He used to get the muscle mags and used to love, you know, lift weights. He played football, you know, all the time. And
sorry, that's my door, but my son will get the doorbell.
Or you want to get a minute, you know, because, you know, that's I'll get a minute where I talk a little bit. And everybody finds their niche in their sport, the thing that makes them, that inspires them, because it can be a lot. And again, I point this out about the women, how for y'all ladies, you have to maintain this look of both femininity and muscularity. For the men, they get away with a little bit more because men are allowed to be more, because we have natural testosterone in our system. We can get as big as buff we want to, but in society's view of it, they look at it like this: woman like I say you're a lovely lady, and I'm saying like this. People go look at it and say, we see the muscles, and they say, yeah, she's trying to be a buffed out man. Yeah. This woman has 3 kids and grandbabies. What do you see a man about her? It's one thing. It's me. I'm a man, and I got boobs. You know, I mean, it's about.
I think it's people's opinions though. Like I've been, you know, I wait when I was in France, I waitressed a lot, and I used to serve people their coffee, and they'd prod me and be like, "Oh, that's a bit too much. You need to stop there." Or, you know, I've had people where I've gone and they've been like, you know, that you're not a woman, but that, you know, that just washes over me. I do what I want to do. I'm not going to go up to, you know, I don't comment on people if they're overweight or if they're too skinny. They do them. And I'm doing me now. So it doesn't, whatever people's opinions are, I don't give a monkey's. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy that, you know, I want to get more heavily muscled. That's my ideal, is that, you know, I want to put more size on my frame. And if people don't like that, then that's their issue. It's not my issue.
Well, this is a quote from my favorite comedian, Bernie Mac. It was from the movie called House Party 3, where he's talking to his nephew, played by a kid from Kid and Play. He says, some people don't like you. This is what he said: fuck them. That's straight up it. Because
Exactly.
you know what? You gotta live for you. You can't live for nobody else. You can't make no. If you can't make yourself happy, why worry about someone else's?
That's
Best
it.
thing
It's taken me a long time to get there. It's taken me a lot of years to not worry about what other people think. But now I'm totally with you on that, George. Just fuck them, and I'm gonna do what I like. And
yeah, do what you like. Live for you, because you know what? As long as your children are proud of you, your babies love you, they support you. That's good. Like, what about your rest of your family? Do they support your bodybuilding? Like your mom, your dad? I think you mentioned a sister.
yeah, no, my sister and I are really, really close. She goes training now. She never used to, and I've got her into training. It's sorted her. She used to have a lot of back issues and things, and she's a dancer. So that's what she's done. She used to go to theatre school, and she was a dance teacher. But now she gets in the gym, and she absolutely loves it as well. So she's not like extreme like me. She came to see one of my shows, so she came and supported me, which was absolutely amazing, and we're really close. My parents know, they don't understand it, and they don't speak to me because of that, I think. But like I say, I can't control how they feel. I'm not doing anything that's bad, terrible. I do what I need to do for my kids. They've got everything they need. I'll support them 100%, my grandkids. But this makes me happy, and I'm not harming anyone, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you should make you happy. What parents, like me, my mom, when I was thinking of my mom, I used to joke with her, say, "Hey, I'm man, mama. Hey, I'm man." She said, "No, you're my baby." I said, "No, mom, I'm a man." And that's good that you have at least your sister support you. Maybe
And like my kids are absolutely amazing. Honestly, they're the best. I'm so proud of them, and they're all doing their own thing. Like I said, I've got one that's got two beautiful girls, and she's a teacher and a Zumba teacher. The other one's going in the Navy. My son is a chef, and he's going traveling, and he's doing his high rocks. He's doing Camp America. So I couldn't be prouder of them. And they now, like I say to them, they need to make themselves happy. They need to do whatever makes them happy. And it's not about earning the most money. It's about being happy in what you do, because you can have, the best paid job, but if you hate it, your life's shit. So, and it's the same. They need to live their lives, and my son is amazing for that, because he just is his own person and doesn't give a monkeys what other people think. And I've learned a lot from him. And at the ripe old age of sort of 47 now, I'm starting to think I'm just going to do whatever I do, and whatever makes me happy, I will do that, because we're not hurting anyone. So just do it.
You ain't hurt nobody. And right from age 40, well, I'm 51, ma'am, and as a Southern gentleman, you are a lady, no matter what age you are. And I gotta respect that when I talk to you ladies.
Thanks, George.
Ma'am, as I said again, to quote from my favorite hero, The Dark Knight, he said it in the Batman Begins. He said, "You never have to. That's why I do this channel. Give y'all ladies a voice to share your experiences, to let people understand. It's education. Like, again, I look at, for y'all women, there's so much sacrifice and time, and it's an investment into what you want to be. Again, we go back to the cost. Like the guys, when they compete, they're gonna put on a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts.
That's it.
You got to get your hair, your makeup done. You got your tanning. Your coach, he has to run on the high heels, and I don't know.
And like you say, it's about staying feminine, but also doing what we want to do, and as far as we want to push it in terms of muscularity. But it's totally different, because you've got your hormones that come into play. You've got your monthly cycles that come into play. So it's totally different for a woman doing this sport to a man. It's hard on either side. Whatever you do, you go into the gym, you hammer yourselves. But women, we have a lot more fluctuations than men do, and it is a lot more costly in terms of competing than it is for the men. So it is a dedication, but when you love it, that's what you want to do. And I don't question it. I just enjoy it. And I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't go out, because this is what I want to do. I go out to the gym. That's what I love.
Yeah, I know the gym is the place, like a second home. It's your church. It's your it's your sanctuary. Especially when the pandemic hit, a lot of gyms were closed. A lot of people were like, I was holding stories how people were buying weight from home. Yeah, I think there were some places where they were like going out of business near about, because they're selling so many stuff, because a lot of people, that's the place they like to go. That's their when they meet their friends and hang out and talk, conversate. Yeah, I don't drink either. I used to work quite a bit. I used to hold two jobs when I was younger. I worked in a as you might call a petrol station, we call it a gas station here. I
Yeah.
worked in textiles. I worked in meat processing process. My family was sharecroppers. We worked on farms and and worked for other people's land. And one job that I this is the one that it kind of makes me smile, but it's kind of hard. I used to work in a gentleman's club, as they call it, and I had guys talk to me, say, George, man, yeah, it's strip club every night, man, with those girls. Hey, dude, it's like this. If it's not a good night, their girls are not happy. They got to make their money too. We get here comment from my man, shout out to my man KL, the wonder. He's asked, he says, Laura, would you date someone who is not a bodybuilder or someone who that's in the sport?
Oh, well, thank you for that. I don't think I have been single for 10 years and I don't think anyone would want to date me. But if anything did happen, then it would have to be someone I think that's into bodybuilding, because one of my favorite pastimes is to travel and go to other gyms. I'm like a kid in a toy shop. If I go into a new gym, I'm absolutely in my element. So I also like going to watch competitions, seminars, anything to do with bodybuilding. So yeah, I think it would have to be someone that would put up with me in bodybuilding, because that's my passion. And like I say, even outside of the gym, I like going to train in other gyms. I like chatting to people that are into bodybuilding. So yeah, I think it would have to be someone that was into bodybuilding as well.
10 times, well, me personally, I never dated too much. I had relationships, but yeah, like I guys go by. It's been a long time since I touched a lady, but but it's good to find somebody. But it's great somebody who supports your choice to be a bodybuilder, your decision. It's never too late. I know my sister, she keeps telling me, say, you're not too old to have a baby, because I don't have no kids. I was just working a lot, and then I was just doing my thing. But it's good that someone can understand who you are as a person, respect your decisions, respect who you are as an athlete. You are still you are still a lady, and and I always say, any man out there who sees this video, who like, hey, if you like her and you have something in common with her and you're interested in her, let her know, because that's good. That's the thing. It's up to this is up to us men to realize that you're going to be who you're going to be. The idea of what was considered feminine is not always going to be saying, like my mom, she had to raise kids, but she still was a woman. She took care of home. She cleaned clothes. She washed kids. She washed dishes and kids. She did what she did as a woman. She was married to my father 55 years, even though he was living in New Jersey the last 30 of it, and then she was still here in North Carolina with us for the last 25 of it. Here we get here coming from man KL Wander. He likes the question. He says, for you, how it's the environment in like in the UK with bodybuilding in terms in dealing with the public?
In terms of like competitions and things, or
well, a little bit, because you remember you wasn't a waitress back in France, and you have to deal with people making comments like that. That kind of was that, and also when you're out and about, like
I think it's I mean, I don't tend to notice it, but my kids do. So if we go out together, they'll be like, oh, Mum, do you see them staring at you? Or I've been out with my grandkids, and some people are lovely, and they'll come up and they'll be like, you look incredible. How'd you get like that? What do I need to do? And then other people, when they do see a more heavily muscled woman, they will sort of stare, but I tend to just not really notice it. But like I say, my kids would be like, oh, they were staring at you and that. So it just depends where you are. But like I say, things like that, I don't let it bother me. And if people do come up and they want to ask questions about how you get like that, what you need to do, then I'll always chat to them, because I just think people that take an interest is really nice. And if it is more of a negative, then again, it just washes over me. I don't bat an eyelid, really.
Yeah, I know your boy be like, hey, you got some with my mama? You got some with my mama?
Sometimes you get people to ask you like for the double bicep, or show us your biceps or that. But yeah, as you go around, sometimes I've had that before.
Well, the thing is with this, because bodybuilding is very extreme sport, there's a fetish to it, because it's not, like one thing, Like some ladies, they do certain sites. It's like, excuse my language, I call them the beat the meat websites. That's what they are. That's what because there's a fetish to it because it's something different because it's such a extreme form of transforming the female body from what is usually more soft and feminine. You know, if you look at the women now, like Callie, your coach, she's a lovely lady. She's a beautiful woman. I mean, hey, wow, and like in the sport overall, other than because I saw you're very proud of your coach and you're a very big fan of hers. Is there someone in this sport that you really admire them as their work ethic, their personality, especially as a bodybuilder?
Yeah, I think for me, well, there's two. There's a male and a female. So again, there's Sarah Bradley, who I think I've had the opportunity to meet her, and she helped me with my posing, tweaking it. I think she's amazing and someone that I really look up to as well because she's, she's pushing the boundaries. And she also, like last year, she started a prep and then pulled out because she wasn't ready. And I really admire that she's, she wants to be that as when she steps on stage. It'll be incredible to see what she looks like when she steps back on stage. And again, you need to have that mindset and mentally you need to be ready, and if you're not in that right place, then there's no point in going forward or pushing it. And the other person is Lewis Breed, who was in one of those photos. He's like, I've had some PT sessions with him and he trains like an absolute beast. He's absolutely floored me in the best possible way. But again, his work ethic, he's taught me a lot about pulling back to push forwards. I'm someone that tends to sort of go in hammer and tong, and I'll overtrain. That's why I could never coach myself. I'll overtrain, I'll undereat. And he's really taught me about one, like active recovery and using your rest days to make sure that you're a better athlete. And also about tweaking. I've got a similar, or Amanda thinks that I've got a similar shape to him. He's called the brick and they call me the mini brick. So when I've trained with him, it's really like tweaked my training. And I always think it's so good to train with people that you aspire to, because it just pushes you that bit further. And so I have regular sort of PT sessions with him and it just sets me up. It just keeps my training, like pushes me to that next level. So I really admire him and I admire his work ethic. And he's an absolute star of a person, the same as Sarah. Like when I see her, she's such a lovely person and so humble. And these are people that I aspire to. Like I said, I've got Amanda I'm in awe of all the time, every time I see her. And then there's Lewis and Sarah that I just think if I can, be half as good a bodybuilder as they are, then I'll be happy.
Well, that's that mini brick. If she said call you mini brick, call you the brick house. She's a brick house. Put it on the shirt. It's the brick house. I say, yeah.
Well, he's the brick. I'm the mini brick. So, and that's like when they said that to me, Amanda said, "You're like the mini brick." I was like, "Yep, I'll have that." That makes me happy.
Yeah, you should put it on your IG and your Monica. That'd be cool. But
yeah,
for me, doing this content, there's so many women who I'm fans of. Especially sport. I followed the guys for a good while. I remember a group of guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno and guys like Lee Heaney and Lee Labrada. I even got to meet while I was in Tampa. I got to meet Kevin Lavone. And I told him, Mr. Lavone, I told him you should have missed Olympia twice. And I shook his hand. He said, "Yeah, sure." Because he was like the Pretty Ricky of men's bodybuilding. One lady I got to meet while I was in Tampa, and I'm a fan of hers. She shot me out after she won her Olympia, second place at the Olympia this year, is Ashley Jones. And Ashley, she was figure. Then when it was physique. I love this photo because she just, that smile, look to her. I mean, she had a great physique. Yeah, but the one lady that I'm a biggest fan of, especially, she's the one who kind of turned around with bodybuilding. And I can't help it because she's my girlfriend, and that is the lovely Miss Andrea Shaw.
Yeah, she looks incredible as well. So she's got that really those bubbly muscles. She looks insane.
Yeah, I mean, a friend of mine, I was going to shout out every time I do my lives, and my friend her name is Eunice. She runs her own company called Bad Rap. She was at the Olympia back in 2023 when they had it in Orlando. And it was like a little bit after my birthday, she sent me this magazine. Now, the quote, like I said, the quote my other half says, "If you get us something, never do it for free." And I call this my reward. And what makes it special, not just the magazine, at the fact that the current 6-time Miss Olympia, probably 7-time Miss Olympia, she signed it for me. I interviewed a lady who knows her, so that's a signature. That's not fake. She told me that because
amazing.
And this is and also a young lady who I interviewed a while back. Her name is Haley May, and Haley sent me this, and it's a calendar. And I appreciate these gifts I get from these ladies, like pictures and and postcards and stuff like that, because it tells me that I'm doing good work.
That they appreciate you. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, because the thing is, this is why I do this shit. Because when I started this, I needed an outlet because I was taking my mom. Mom was sick for a long time, and this was for me was because I was a fan of y'all ladies. Again, I admit my crime. I must have cursed small. Y'all ladies kind of excite me, but doing this content and interview ladies like yourself from different parts of the world, different divisions and different backgrounds, I get to learn something. I get to learn what inspires you, what compels you to do this sport, what drives you. I mean, this is a very tough sport because between like body dysmorphia, sometimes some competitors have to deal with post-show blues. Shout out my man, RFM Muscle, we talk about that. How after shows, when you lose those gains, that vascularity, how everything's popping, the styration, the glutes, everything is like, what do you feel like is your best feature overall?
Probably my biceps. So I attribute it because I've waitressed for a lot of years, George. So I think it's like carrying the trays of waitressing. But yeah, like my biceps are quite dominant, obviously, on me. So they're probably the best feature. I don't tend to have to work them, but I'm hoping that my back will come up. If my back comes up, then that would be a really good feature. So yeah, everything's a work in progress, though.
Yeah, the thing is, it's about working on your strengths as much as your weaknesses. Your arms are already there, so you don't have to train as much, but you got to bring that back. You want that great width. You also want that nice, slender, tapering waist. So you look at the current Miss Olympia physique champion, Natalie Cuejo. She's, her dimensions, it fits for that division. And you look at, again, we talk about Andrea. Hers fits for her division. It's about the process, and it's about what works for you in your training. Like when you're training, what's your favorite workout? And that workout you say, shit, I don't want to do it.
The one that I struggle with the most is my hamstring session. So at the minute I do 2 pull sessions a week, 2 push and 2 legs. So one's will be a quad focus, one will be a hamstring focused. The hamstrings I've been struggling with, like just finding what works for me to make them grow. So again, I had a session with Lewis Breed, and we've tweaked it. I think I'm really excited. I've got hamstrings tomorrow, so I'm really excited to go back and do the plan that we've done with him because, like I said, Amanda and I have done a plan, but I just didn't gel with it. Sessions that I love is pull sessions. I love training back. I love training shoulders, which are on my push days. And I get so nervous for my quad focus sessions, but like a good nervousness, because I just want to go in and I really want to get like big quads and get that sweep. So I love all of my sessions. I'm in my absolute element. And if I can now this hamstring session to grow my hamstrings, then I will be ecstatic.
Well, yeah, you're very impressive. One thing I'm very impressed with you have crazy gyration in your glutes, especially when you're conditioned. Yeah, the back is pretty good. I mean, overall, you have a very impressive physique, especially for a lady of 47 years old. I mean,
Thank you.
Man, again, I'm a Southern gentleman. You don't need to thank me. It's my honor to tell a lady she's lovely. And, and my other guy says, I don't ever have a plan. I'm just a dog chasing cars. I never know if I get one. And that's the thing about this. It's always understanding your weakness and your strengths, make those improvements, and taking that whole year off. Because like I said, again, bodybuilding's not going anywhere anytime soon. There's quite a few shows, especially overseas. Also, there's the shows here in the States. There's one show is coming up. I think it's going to be in a month or so. That is the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. They do have a pro qualifier. Just need enough competitors. There's also a show in Chicago. It's called the Miss International. It's also a worldwide competition. You can do women's bodybuilding. Just need enough ladies to compete and get your pro card. Then you can make your pro debut at Chicago, also Chicago Pro. And there's also Tampa, not Tampa, the Amateur Olympia. That's also a worldwide show. I will say like this: you have great potential. I think here in the States, I think you would do well. But I know it's the cost of traveling here to there and then and that. It's easy to try to maybe find a show right in New York. Like I know Claudia mentioned the Romanian Muscle Fest. That's at the end of this year. Maybe you can do it for next year, or be a show you can start and maybe see how you look in front of the judges, whichever film.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Giving me a year off, it gives me a year to build up some more funds to then potentially we could hit America. So Amanda has spoken about it as well in going to sort of the States. So like I say, I'm happily guided by her and what she thinks. She's been to so many competitions and sort of knows what the judges are looking for in the different competitions. So I'll be sort of guided by whatever she says. And like I say, I'm just happy to step back on stage and be in the thick of it again. So we'll take this year off, get some size on, and then plan out for 2027.
Yeah, and also everybody out there, if sponsorship does help. It does help cover the costs of everything from their entry fees to travel fees to food, room, and board. If you're so interested in sponsoring someone like Laura, have a plan. Make sure it's genuine. Don't be that weird guy. Say, hey, Laura, I saw your last couple of shows. I saw you. Yes, nice. You know what? I know you're a mini brick, but I got a mini brick for you. That's no, stop that, you sick freak. Stop that. This is when you approach a lady like this. You say, ma'am, Miss Morley, you have a particular talent about yourself, being a coach, being a trainer, being a mother, being a grandmom. We respect you as a competitor. So if you're interested in, if you talk with your coach, we have a product that might help you, and also maybe get you as a brand ambassador for a company. So ma'am, if you feel like this is something that can help in your process and you feel like this is something that we can have a good relationship, a good back and forth, let us know. We're happy to help you see you grow as an athlete.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I think because sponsorship does help because, and I think it's always about social media. You have to be very active on social media. Also people need to understand that you do this because it's a sport that you love.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I think there's so much risk, but not as much reward. I wish it was more like a mainstream sport where, okay, you can make a living off of it. We don't have to work as much like anybody else. You can just do competitions, you get paid for it. But again, because bodybuilding is such an extreme sport, it's always going to be the issue of people using steroids. But there's more steroid use in mainstream sports, from football to basketball to boxing. I do content MMA, and I've seen MMA fighters who get busted for using performance enhancers because bodybuilding is so extreme. It's always going to get that finger pointed at you.
Yeah.
And then especially for y'all ladies, many ladies have done interviews in MMA and combat sports situation because they don't get as much promotion compared to the men.
To the men, yeah. No, it's 100%. It's not equal in the sport yet, and we're not equal amongst other sports, like you say. There's PEDs in every single sport when you compete at a high level. It's just not as well known, and no one sort of says anything. But like you say as well, George, it's not equal between the men and the women, and sort of the promotion that everyone gets. But that's why we're grateful to people like you putting it out there. And as we go through, like every woman that competes at amateur and pro, when they get into, they are passionate about it, especially like you say, being more heavily muscled. There is a lot of work behind it to get to the level that we want to get to, whether we stay in an amateur division or we go into the pro league. So we have to be passionate about it. So just getting sort of the word out there will hopefully promote the sport and get more people into these heavier muscle categories. Yeah,
and most definitely, I think as an athlete, as you grow, like right now, there's a new division coming up. Excuse me, it's called Fit Model. I understand the purpose of it. I get the purpose of it to be to get more attention and get more people into it. But again, it's another division that's going to end up looking like the division you're supposed to replace it. Like, look at women's physique, how women in physique now look like women's bodybuilding. You see women in figure should be doing physique. I know your coach has seen some girls backstage that say, "Hey, you're in the wrong division. You're too, I mean, you just, you know what I mean? But again, this is about finding what works for you in your process as you grow and develop as an athlete."
Yeah, no, it is 100%. It is just sort of staying in your lane, knowing what you want to do in your own head, and then going with that. And then just, you know, talking to people, getting it out there and getting the judges' feedback. And I know with some of the judges, they wanted me less conditioned, but for me, I want, you know, I want to bring that condition. I want to bring that graininess. That's me. If I was any less conditioned, I haven't done enough. You know, I haven't done enough in terms of sort of getting the fat off. So it is a case of knowing what you want and what you're happy with. And again, working with your coach and making sure that you've got that really good relationship with your coach, and then just loving it, loving every stage of it, you know, not worrying about the weight gain when you're in the off season, and going in and loving your training, just loving every stage of it, because you're putting so much into it. Like you say, one is cost financially, but also it takes over your life. It has to be integrated into your life for you to then keep going with it. So you've got to love it.
Yeah, that's thing. We have here PJ coming through. He says hi PJ. He says this also. Hi. He says have to ask is the goal weight this off season.
We don't really have a goal weight. Like I say, last off season I got to 75.5 kilos. I'm only just 5 foot, so I'm quite short and sort of dinky. I'm at 64 now, so I'm sort of 10 kilos over my lowest weight that I was during prep. So we're just going to keep going. I'm in such a better condition wise. I mean, I've still got sort of veins in my legs when I train. I'm still quite conditioned, so food's going in really well, digestion's really good, so we'll just sort of keep going. But you don't have to sort of pile the food on, you know, as much. My thing is that I do too much output, so my steps are quite high, so we're trying to bring down my output to create that surplus to use in my training, and then we can start to increase food again. So we're just going to take it in stages, but we don't really have, I'd like to get, if I could get to sort of 75 kilos but be a totally different shape to what I was in those photos where it was quite a lot of fat, we had to bring off 20 kilos, then you know, I'd be happy. But we're just going to play it by ear. Like I say, take the time. I'm going to take this year off so we don't have to really push up and then bring it all off and lose that muscle. I want to put on muscle that then stays there. So we'll see, PJ.
Yeah, she wants that because, like I say, for us in America, we don't do kilos, we do pounds. Americans, so she's like about 150 to 160. That's the size she want to get to. That's what she wants to put on, and that's the thing. You want that nice fullness in your muscles. You want that great pop. You want that vascular and the veins. You want that, you know, the overall look for your division to be with bodybuilding with physique, and also it takes that time because again, a lot of people want things quick, fast, in a hurry. But you want to take that time because you don't want to make mistakes. You want to be
well, we don't want food to go too high, then digestion's impacted, then we've got to pull food back, or we get sort of too overweight, so then we've got to pull back again. If I could just keep going in this off season at a really nice pace, keep building muscle rather than having to sort of put weight on, pull it off, put it on, pull it off. So we're just going to sort of play the long game and the intelligent game and just creep up slowly. So so I'm 10 kilos above my lowest weight now. So we've put on a good amount of sort of solid, but it's not fat. So that's the way that I want to keep playing it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to be very mindful of what you're doing, because this is just simply just eating this and putting on this and lifting weights. It's always certain things you need to do, things you need to put in, things you might need to take out. And then you don't want to flatten yourself out and then come in and, you know what, I might have missed something. Now, we get here from a man, PJ. He says, sorry, give me a second. He says, wow, 75 kilos is a lot for your height. Congrats. You know, thank you, brother. So especially, you know, being that you're a smaller woman, you gotta eat a lot more. And especially, as you know, this is a thing for me as a fat man. I often go to this, like, after your last show, Laura, share with me, what was that thing that you desired the most, that thing that you wanted, especially on that long prep, dried chicken and quinoa and broccoli. You wanted, what was that thing that you wanted? What was that thing, as my other half would say, It make you stranger, I make you stronger.
Well, I know I'm going to disappoint you. I'm going to disappoint you, George, both of you, because I was in Milan, and literally I did still, after post show, I didn't eat anything. I think the thing is that because when we lead up to the show, we're peaking, my calories are really high. So I'm eating a lot of like cream of rice, nut butter. So afterwards, it's not as if I'm hungry. So there's not, and because in my mind, there's so much that I still want to achieve, I didn't. So I finished my last show mid-November, and I didn't have sort of an off-plan meal until Christmas Day. So I just stayed on my same food. My digestion was not great afterwards because we'd done so many shows and we'd done so many peaks. So I just stayed at my diet. We even pulled back food, so I was eating less carbs just to get that digestion back firing. And then it was sort of around Christmas time that I had an off-plan meal, which was an Indian takeaway with my kids. So it was, but there was nothing really, because like I say, my food was high. We came in quite early, so we just cruised into each show, and I was eating sort of a lot of calories. There was nothing really that I fancied. And I do like all my food. I'm a bit boring, so I like my cream of rice and my chicken and rice and nut butter and dark chocolate. So I'm a happy girl.
Well, that's understandable, because everybody has different, especially after the show. Lucky, I think your coach gets you, as we call it, a refeed or a cheat meal during your process. That helps you, especially in Italy. You're in Milan, Italy, where I think the food overseas compared to us in America, we do a lot of processed stuff. We got it's very clean and natural. I remember I interviewed a couple ladies that did the Masters Olympia in Japan, and said that one lady, she has issues because she has her name is Cheryl Mears, and she has a colostomy bag because she was going through something some time ago. And she was eating some ice cream. She loved it. She went back and got some more because the food there was so clean. It wasn't as processed. And that's the thing with some countries, especially outside of the United States, it's just something different. You can eat something there. Here we have a lot of fatty foods. One of my favorites is Chinese food. I was like a couple of weeks ago, I was out and about, and I stopped by this restaurant I hadn't been to in a long time, and it was just good because they do a buffet. I'm a fat man. I try to be smart. I do try to be smart. I had some, tried broccoli a little bit like that. But then, like I said again, if you call me man, be calling my name, because food is both a tool and a weapon in the process for a bodybuilder.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's that mindset. When I was overweight, I did have problems with sort of binge eating and overeating. I'd really restrict, and then I'd binge eat. So I've been through all of that, and I had a really poor relationship with food. And again, I thank bodybuilding and attribute bodybuilding to getting my relationship with food back on track, because now I enjoy food. I enjoy the food I eat. I enjoy food when I go out with my kids and we go out for good food. We cook a lot from home. So if we want to make sort of a burger and chips, most of the time we'll make it homemade. We'll make a pizza and we'll make it homemade, but we'll also go out to restaurants. Like I say, my son's just qualified as a chef, so he enjoys good food as well. But I've got such a good relationship with food now. Obviously, when you're in prep again, you get in your head sort of, you come out. But I'm now 9 weeks post show. I didn't binge after. I didn't feel the need to. But then once my digestion was good, I had some good food and I looked forward to it. So again, another thing I thank bodybuilding for is for repairing my relationship with food and not thinking that I've got to go and raid the cupboards and eat a whole box of cereal. I can have a bowl of cereal and go back for some more the next day, So it's again, it's another positive thing that I've got from bodybuilding, is that it's helped repair my relationship with food, going from that extreme restriction to which a lot of people do with this yo-yo dieting that, a lot of people are in. They'll really restrict and then they can't maintain it. So then they'll go and they'll binge or they'll overeat. Again, I use food for my workouts. I use it to fuel me. And I realize that I can eat quite a lot of food, good food, without putting on fat. And it's the choices that you make of the food that you're going to eat. But I don't find it difficult. And like I say, I'm in off season now. So I want to spend time with my children before, like one's going off to the Navy, before they go and the other's going traveling. So I want to enjoy good food with them and make those memories around food. And then I'll come back and I'll get straight back onto plan. But it's I'm a lot more conscious of what I'm eating and how it's feeling, and to stop when I'm full, you know. So it's again, it's for me, it's a real positive sort of aspect of bodybuilding, is that relationship that you have with food and how you see it. It's not an emotional relationship that a lot of people have.
I understand, because being, like I said, being overweight myself, I found food as a way for, especially when I did my mom's stuff, and and growing up poor, sometimes we had food, but sometimes it wasn't as much as we wanted, but it was enough to keep us, sustain us. And then the taste of it is just, you taste something that's nice and sweet and tasty, and you can't help yourself. You can't overindulge. But with my conversation with you ladies and doing this, I really learned some things. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm not going to be able to be a bodybuilder, but I am trying to be smart. Here in the States, we got stuff like Ozempic, Mounjaro, stuff like that. They help you. It helps you process, but as long as you don't work out and train, the medication is not going to be the thing that help you lose that weight.
Yeah.
And one thing also, I got to get on my own way, because I'm a bit of a procrastinator. I know I am, and I got to be more. I've done the work before. I just got to get back on it again.
Yeah.
I have issues. I got 2 bad knees, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I had a pacemaker for almost 12 years. And I got my first heart attack when I was 39 years old. And, and then realizing that, what, I have to be more diligent and more persistent on, especially for my health. Because again, even though I don't have children, I do have nieces and nephews, my sisters and my brothers who still want me around. We have here, shout out to my man here, PJ saying this, says, do you think in the UK, female bodybuilding is growing?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I don't know if it's because I'm sort of in it now and you see, but a lot more people know about it, and I think a lot more people respect it, rather than, like you say, just thinking of it as a stereotype that we're just taking PEDs to get to where we are. A lot of people, especially I work at a gym, and a lot of people have a respect in a lot of gyms now for the bodybuilders, because they see that you go in and you're not just meatheads that are chucking around weight. You are in there every day doing your thing, hour to 2 hours, training, plus you do your cardio and your food. So I think a lot of people have a lot more respect for bodybuilders, and especially female bodybuilders, because you've got the added hormones, and like you say, a lot of us have more. We have the house to look after, we have our husbands, we have our kids, we have jobs, so there's a lot more that goes into it. And I'm not saying males don't, because I think that they do as well, but the females, we do tend to have a lot more on our plate, spinning a lot more plates than the majority of men. So I think there is a lot more respect, and it's growing.
Yeah. Well, you got issues with men. Here's the thing: is we should have to bring home the bacon. Here's the thing about men: our purpose in life is to build, battle, and breed. We have, but for you women, you are the ones who take care of our homes, take care of our children. You do a lot, and that's why I'm like, some things I learned from my mom. One thing here, I'll say this: you have a son. A woman can teach a boy all the basics in the world, but it takes a man to teach him how to be a man. That's the different aspects of it, and that's important. That we, both as men and women, are out here in the world teaching our children, making ways to just be productive in society, and finding something that inspires. Like you say, you're a coach. You've been doing this for a good while, and I know you love being a coach and training people.
Yeah, no, I do. I just think I get so much out of it, and because I've had quite a lot of life experiences, and I've had to juggle a lot of things, I've got the empathy with a lot of my clients, so I understand, and I love I'm constantly on WhatsApp with them, checking in how their day's gone, what can I do to help on a Sunday, have we got things ready for the week, is there anything that I need to help you with, if they're feeling a bit of dip in their mood, or they're having some issues. And I've dealt with a lot of things, so I'm not saying that 100% I've been there and done that, but a lot of the things I can relate to, so I do have that empathy and understand, and I've gone through it, so I sort of think, okay, well, let's do this. Don't think of maybe you can't get your steps in this week, or your training, we have to sort of tailor things and tweak things. Nothing's constant and set in stone. Everything's movable and can change according to your life to be able to fit it in some way or another. So if you can't do 4 workouts, maybe we can do 3, and we can do 3 40-minute workouts, or we can do some at-home workouts and I can send them some things. So there's constantly things that can be done to be able to still stay on track. It's just a lot of people think if they can't do one thing, right, that's it, let's throw the towel in and not bother this week. Whereas that's not the case. So I had a client that had she had a really good breakfast. She went training when she didn't want to, but then she came and she had lunch with someone and had some chips. So she's like, that's it, it's done. And I'm like, no, look at what you have done. You had a great breakfast, you went training, that's great. Then all you've had is some chips. Just get back on it and then, congratulate yourself for what you've done. So it's about being that cheerleader for them, just to keep, because if you get in your own head, sometimes you're always looking at the negatives. You're not looking at what you've actually done that's really good. So yeah, no, I just love it. And I think what people get out of it and how they change and grow in confidence is crazy, from just, from training and eating well. And it's just making little tweaks to their daily lives. It's not anything major.
Yeah, sometimes you can be your own worst enemy, and then also you got to be your biggest supporter. If not everybody else, you got to be you. Because I know talking to ladies where when they get to support, it changes their lives. Like they can't go out and hang at the pub, or they can't go this and do that, because like talk about the chips, or we might, it's like, again, food goes back to like it can be addictive. You can be like Pookie New Jack City. You be calling my name, man, be calling my name. But again, you have to make that choice, that not so much as a sacrifice, an investment on bettering your life, your health, your situation. That's a choice that I think all people need to think about it. It's not everybody has that mindset of it, because it can be difficult, and temptations out there. It's awful. We have your comment. Shout outs here to my man here, PJ. He says this. He says, something I don't understand is the fear of women, some women's fear to transition to WPD. Well, not everybody's comfortable with that division. You have to put a lot more muscle. It's different. If you look at, like, I have conversations where you look at some women's physique and women's bodybuilding. Yes, some look like they could be women's bodybuilding, but many of them not, because it's always going to be, if you look at Andrea and compare it to Natalia, she has more round, bubbly muscles.
Yeah,
more definition, more size.
It's your physique, but it's also what you want to do as an individual. So it's just entirely up to that person. Like I said, I would be happy if I was in women's physique or women's bodybuilding. To me, it doesn't matter. But you've got some people that just don't want to go up that next stage, so they'll just stay in women's physique division. And there's still so many tweaks that you can make to your physique and stay in WPD. So it is just really individual. It's the same in the men's divisions, that some of them don't want to go upper category just because of sort of the demands that it puts on them. And like you say, with women, if you've got, if you're of a certain age, you've got jobs, or financially as well, you just can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he says this. He's like 2 points. He says, so they are basically women's bodybuilding size, but want transition. Well, they're not. It's like I said, Gabe, you can't compare like a girl from physique to a girl to figure. You can't compare. Like, I've seen girls in wellness who could probably do figure or probably women's physique, but it's up to them if they want to grow. So, folks, we're not going to hold her much longer here. And, she took the time out here. I know she had a busy session with a coach.
Yeah,
I know she's tired. She's hungry. She in the UK. It's probably about 5, 6 o'clock your time.
Yeah, it's 5:30. Yeah.
And just the turn of the afternoon for me here in the United States. So, this question I'm going to ask you: what would you want for yourself out of bodybuilding as a whole?
I would love to get a pro card in the IFBB. I think that's sort of everyone's aspirations. It's definitely mine. But like I said, I want to merit it. I want to have earned that card and have put in the work. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to get the size so that when I step back on stage, I can be like, yes, 100%. I've done everything I can, and hopefully come away with an IFBB card, and then be able to then step on the pro stage and be competitive. So that's why for me, it's important to get that size. I don't want to get the pro card and then think, Christ, I've got to come, I can't step on a pro stage because I'm, looking at the athletes that are on the pro stage and I'm nowhere near them. So for me, I'd like to get that pro card and have the physique then to be able to go into a pro show and be competitive. So that's probably the goal for me.
Mm-hmm, yeah, I know because I know a couple of ladies who I both interviewed. They're from UK. Lisa Elizabeth Smith, and also another young lady. Her name is Sophia McGregor. It was McGregor. They both got their pro cards recently, but they had to apply for theirs because, Lisa did the UK show, but there was not enough competitors, so she applied for it, she got them. But you want to get yours because you wanted to earn it. You didn't want to just put in, hey, I deserve my pro card. Can I get it?
That's it. No, I want to earn it, and I want to be on stage with other women, and there to be a competition. So that's me. I just want to make sure that I merit having that pro card.
And you're not afraid to step on with the big dogs. You're not scared. Like my man Bo Crush, you ain't never scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. You want to come up here. Yeah, be there. Be on stage. Be like besides people like the Tag Heuer, who's according to Miss Physique, who still do shows, knowing you already qualified. People like Zama Benta. I saw her when I was in Tampa. She's amazing. May who I saw. One of the young ladies who I got to talk to and meet, Paula Ranta. She's about as old as one of your daughters. That's the thing about this sport. There's so much drive and passion. Everybody wants to get to the big show. If it's not the big Olympia, there's also the Masters because you're 47. There's opportunities for anything. And the thing is, not everybody's going to get to that point, but if you enjoy what you do, you love the competition, the training, being the stage, and being side by side with women who share your own comment. Like, this is why I say this. I'll say this. People don't understand what y'all go through. We go to the shows, we see these puff, muscular bodies, these ripped, shredded bodies, men and women, but don't understand what you had to go through to get there, the dieting, the training, going through sometimes dehydration, being hungry, being hangry. We see these beautiful physiques, glossed out in oil and tan, and it's exciting. And it's good that you have your children support you, like your son. He went to your show and said, "Yeah, it's my mom. Yeah, it's my mom." And then some guy on the side said, "Yeah, it's your mom. Well, I want her to be my mommy. Hey, you sick freak. That's my mom." He's gonna fight because
he's a boxer, so he would. He thinks he can take on the world.
Whoa, that's the thing. He's a young man. That's the thing is, I remember when I was a young man, I used to think I could take on the world. Then I'm a broke down old man with a pacemaker and 2 bad knees. But that's good that that's your man right there. Like I said again, a boy's best friend is his mother. You are our first woman. We can have girlfriends and boyfriends. We have girlfriends and boyfriends and wives every now and then, but a mother, like I said, my mother's been gone for about 6 years this coming summer. And again, she was my woman. And she was going through, she took care of me while I was going through stuff. I took care of her. And that's good that you're I know, thank you. I know your children and your grandbabies, they love you. They want you to be happy and do what you want to do. I know you see that in public. You talk about, we see that in public, say, your grandbabies say, "Oh, miss, these are your children?" So these are my grandbabiys. Say,
I love them too. I'm very proud of them all.
It should be, because you know what, you are a special woman. So we're not going to hold you much longer. We appreciate your time. I want to shout out to my guests out here, my man PJ who comes through, my brother Kale the Wanderer who's here. Shout out to the love. Again, the quote, my hero, the Dark Knight, you never have to. And before I let you go, I gotta say, say one more thing. Oh boy, I want to tell you something. You are beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So, you have anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
Just to you, George, just to say thank you so much for having me on. I've had an amazing hour and a half chatting to you, and hopefully, I've just explained how passionate I am. And like I said, I'm a very proud mum, very proud nan, and Amanda Winston, massive shout out to her for getting me here, and I couldn't have done it without her. So thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad. This is what my challenge to be, informative, also entertaining. Sometimes I get ladies say, "I don't know, I'm kind of shy." It's just you and me talking to screens. Not like we're in a bunch of room with a bunch of people. There's a couple of people watching here and there on the, like that. It's just trying to make you feel comfortable and enjoy yourself, and also entertain, and also just be like a first date. Say, "Hello, love." If I say something, love, if I tell you you have a great body, will you hold it against me? Just want you to understand. This is what my challenge about. Give y'all ladies. I'm a small challenge. Just hit 4,000 subs on YouTube.
That's amazing. Well done.
Yeah, I didn't buy subscribers like that. I did this because I put in the work and the time and consistency. And when I get ladies like yourself who are still in the trenches, who I say who have their who are their feet on the ground, 10 toes down, still trying to climb up and get to the big show, and really prove who you are as a competitor, not just as an athlete, also as a woman. In a sport, which is always going to be, the focus is going to be like the men, because I say this often, like the men's going to get more attention because if you know anything about the pimping game, the guys' divisions are the bottom bitch. They always get the money, get the attention, but you ladies deserve it because you put in much work time. You make a lot of sacrifice, especially raising children, helping raise grandchildren, and I gotta respect y'all for that. Again, I admit my crime. I do like y'all ladies when y'all are. There's an old smoke saying, "You ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard." But but I respect you as not just as a woman, as a mom, as a grandmother, as an athlete, as a person who's out there helping people in their path, in their fitness and health, or just coaching. That's why this is the purpose of my challenge. Recognize that, to also educate people that not all y'all just these big bunch of big freaks that like just trying to be yoked up dude, but you're a lovely lady. And and I think if anybody do meet with you and realize that, hey, you're a special person, and maybe want to spend more time with you and respect you as you are growing in your path as a bodybuilder.
Oh, thanks, George. That's lovely. Thank you so much for having me.
I've been working on it for a long time. So, folks, again, I'd like to appreciate my guest over here. I'd like to thank the lovely Mrs. Laura Morley, a lovely lady. So if you want to reach out to her, her link's description is live. Don't be that weird guy. She got kids, she got grandbaby, she got a son that can fight. I don't want to hear somebody, her boy be like, ooh, so like, ooh, like be like Rocky Balboa, like it's like, ooh, I did it for you. You're like, I did it for you, Mom. You're my Nick.
He does protect me, yeah.
That's the thing again. A boy's best friend is his mother, and that's the job. You are the first woman we ever loved. And again, I miss mine, and that's why I do this, because she was the one who really told me, George, you got to do what you got to do, son. You got to, you go out there and do what you do as a man, but also remember your mama. Yeah. So, folks, if you want to follow her, link in the description, reach out to her and share your interest. Also, check out my man Cloud's interview with her on Hardcore Bodybuilding channel. It's a good interview. That's why I really like saying, I always reach out to people to want to share their stories. Really want to, really let people know what it is to be a woman in the sport, be it UK, be it United States, be wherever in part of the world. And also, guys, be respectful. No weird stuff. She got kids. I don't want to hear her son beating up somebody in the street. Anyway, this is your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Good afternoon. Good luck, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.